And while we're at it here, before I add water back in, let's pull off the group head. Not the group head, but the piston. And these were all just put in here temporarily, these pins. So I can lube them up and put everything back on. And I don't have the shower screen in right now, so this piston should just pop out. My favorite technique is to use a wrench like this. And so let's lube up all of everything on the inside of the machine again, since I just took it apart. For descale, you can see everything is looking good. Here the piston's looking good. It's actually getting conditioned a little bit itself too. Nothing is as bright. In here it's still kind of bright. That's where the descaling solution was sitting before, in the top. And so let's lube everything back up. Well, this is the second time we put everything together. So the first thing we do is to lube up the piston shaft here, because we want it to move freely up and down. And let's lube the gaskets here. We just put a little bit on the outside of the gaskets. Okay, so that's all set. That's all set here. Let's put this insertion tool on the piston. Let's see if we can do that here in the camera. Okay, so that's all set. We don't need to lube anything else that I know of in here. Oh, I'm going to make sure that the pin here is facing this way, the hole is so you can put the pin in. So we don't have to turn it once we get it in place. We can turn it once it gets in place, but I don't like to do that. And then just push up with the insertion tool. Got it right here. Just came off conveniently. This has never come off, so we don't have to re-lube those. Remember, the hole in the handle, the front hole, goes down, so we're going to put that in place. Now let's lube up the pins. There's the back pin. It goes into that roller bearing. The front pin. We're lubing these up just so that they move easier. It goes into the piston shaft itself. The two screws, I lube those up just a little bit so that they come out easy next time. So these are the screws that Tudor makes. I like these a lot. Stainless. It's a lot better than the C-clips that La Pavone uses. And we'll get this one on a little bit. I could have lubed the inside of the handle here, but really you don't need to do that because it's going to move up and down, and I didn't take it off before. I didn't remove any of the grease that I put on here. We can just make sure that it has plenty here. It's moving well. If you remember all the stuff I did the first time. So we'll clean all that other stuff off later when all the other extra silicone grease. Get a little bit on here just so that these things move freely. The lock Here's the lock nut that goes on first. Let's do it so you can see it. Let's see, let's move it up a little bit. There we go. We can actually lower this. And we're going to work on the piston throw first before we go any farther with this. Clean up everything a little bit just so that it doesn't get all over the place. And really all I have left is this acorn nut that's going to go on top. Here is the shower screen with the gasket. What I do with the gasket is I put just the smallest amount of lube on it. This one is round. It's 49 millimeter, so it's round, so it really doesn't matter which side goes up. I'm going to put that back on the shower screen. Like this. Make sure my hands are clean. The easiest way to insert this is to push it up, then take your portafilter. This is a 49 millimeter portafilter. Capture it in place with the portafilter here. And once you get it pushed up into place, there it goes. You can just turn the handle and it'll lock it. So it's locked up in place now. And I'm going to keep this locked up and so that, again, to adjust the throw, which is important so that you get as much water out of the brew chamber as possible. You pull this all the way down, till it hits. So hit the shower screen. That's as far as it'll go. And then you tighten the nut down like this, so that so right now the bottom of the piston is hitting the shower screen, and this is preventing it from coming out. And then you want to back it off 1/4 of a turn. So let's move this up. And so I'm going to turn. That's 1/4 of a turn. Actually, let's do a half. So it's a half a turn. Push it back down tight so that it holds the capture nut here. Actually, I went the wrong way. So that's really easy to do. So let's back this off again. And so what you want to do, instead of loosening it, which allowed it to go down deeper, we want to raise this and then tighten it. Actually, I did tighten it. Okay, well, thought I was wrong once and I was right. Because so now that keeps it from touching the shower screen, the piston, and then put on this capture acorn nut here. That's the lock nut here. So what we're going to do is we're holding this down, the lever down, put this on, and we tighten it down to the lock nut. The lock nut should be being held in place. It's not moving, but what I'm going to do is make sure I'm going to secure it here and then so it doesn't move. We just do a little tightening, a little pressure, and now we got our piston throw adjusted. The other thing I haven't done yet is to tighten these two the ends of these pins here, this pin and this nut here. So we want to get these two slotted screwdrivers in place. Just turn it so that you get a little bit of pressure on it so that they don't come loose. And there we go. These are tightened. These two pins are tightened. The two nuts on top are tightened. The portafilter is holding the shower screen up in place. And then we can take off any excess grease, silicone grease that we have on it. So now we're all set with that part of the machine. So if everything goes as planned, we may not have to take this off again. That would be really good if we were done with this handle, the lever.